David Cameron has said wages, welfare, housing, and childcare will be at the heart of the Conservatives' programme for government in its first 100 days. Legislation guaranteeing no one on the minimum wage pays income tax will be among bills in the Queen's speech if the Tories win outright, he announced. Other measures would include a British Bill of Rights, a lower welfare cap and paving the way for an EU referendum. Opinion polls have suggested no party will win enough seats to govern alone. The Conservatives say they will devote the last full week of campaigning before the May 7 poll to hammering home their core message that their economic strategy is working and would be threatened by a Labour government, either governing on its own or with the support of other parties. Labour are focusing on housing on Sunday, promising that annual rents in the private sector will not rise by more than inflation under its plan to introduce standard 3-year tenancy agreements. Right track. Mr. Cameron will set out his priorities for his first year in office in event of the Conservatives winning an outright victory, by detailing what would be included in the next Queen's speech scheduled for May 27. Bills set to feature include guarantees that no one working 30 hours a week on the minimum wage has to pay income tax by 2020. Increased protection for small businesses. 3 million more apprenticeships. Cutting the benefit cap to £23,000 and introducing work requirements for young benefit claimants. New powers to force coasting schools to accept new leadership. Housing bill to give 1.3 million housing association tenants the chance to buy their homes at a discount. A doubling of free childcare for 3- and 4-year-olds to 30 hours a week. A European referendum bill to pave the way for a public vote on the UK's membership of the EU by the end of 2017. A British Bill of Rights, a communications data bill and legislation to deliver the Greater Manchester Devolution Agreement. Constitutional measures on Scottish and Welsh devolution and on English votes for English laws. In a speech on Sunday, Mr. Cameron will say he will start work immediately on May 8 on implementing a programme to secure a brighter future for Britain. The first 100 days of a majority Conservative government will continue to put working people front and centre of our economic plan, offering security at every stage of life. For the last 5 years, our priority has been clearing up the mess left by Ed Miliband's Labour Party, and now our country is on the right track with 2 million more people in work. For the next 5 years, we will turn our long-term economic plan into a plan for you and your family, cutting your tax bill, helping with childcare, creating more jobs, offering more young people the chance to own their own home, and guaranteeing security in retirement. However, Hugh Osmond, from the private equity group Sun Capital Partners, told the Sunday Times he had no idea what a Conservative government led by Mr. Cameron would look like and achieve. Mr. Osmond has given the Conservatives £114,000 since 2008. His most recent donation, of £20,700, was in 2011. He says he has no intention of making any further donations and would be abstaining on polling day, saying both the Conservative and Labour campaigns were utterly cynical. But the Conservatives received a boost on Sunday when Sir Charles Dunstone, the chairman of Carphone Warehouse and a former supporter of New Labour, suggested that an Ed Miliband victory could put the UK's economic recovery under threat. Writing in the Mail on Sunday, he said, "I really felt I had to speak out as our economic recovery truly hangs in the balance. For me the choice is clear. And it is not a choice between backing business on the one hand and promoting fairness on the other. There is nothing progressive about attacking business and undermining our economy. If the economy fails, frankly it is not the richest who suffer, it's the poorest. It would be a huge and tragic irony if well-meaning people ended up hurting the most deprived in our country. But that is what I fear would happen with a Labour SNP government, one that is anti-business, anti-aspiration and pro-spending money we haven't even earned yet." Funding disputes. Ed Miliband has ruled out a coalition deal with the SNP and insisted a Labour government would not fund any of its spending commitments with extra borrowing, in turn accusing the Conservatives of making a series of unfunded pledges on the NHS, childcare, and tax cuts. The Conservatives were forced to set aside several of their manifesto commitments in 2010 in return for agreeing a coalition deal with the Liberal Democrats. Nick Clegg has insisted no party can win an outright victory and his party will provide stability to whatever government emerges.